love the desert. I love I don't do much mountain climbing like Jane does or hiking, or I don't do that. But I do other things that stay in air conditioning, of course. So again, welcome. We appreciate you being here, and I'm sure we're going to give you lots of great information today. All right. So I'm going to start it off as far as sharing a core value. So our organization has five core values, which are beliefs of our institution. So today I picked We Shape the Future. So with purpose, educating the next generation of evidence-based healers and leaders through collaboration, embracing interprofessional relationships by expanding knowledge, conducting research that improves health and well-being, and last but not least, through evidence-based principles while honoring the past. So that's one of my favorites.
Shaping the future. I love it.
Yeah.
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 And you have seen that happen for how many years? 20 years?
20 years. Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Bradley, who's joining us today, was one of my students. So yes, yes.
Very good. Very good. All right. So, a
All right.
reminder to everyone, as Jody was doing her intro, I did click on the record button. So, be aware we're recording our session, our conversation today, so that we can share it with others in the future. We still would love for you to join our conversation. So, if you have questions, you want to join, feel free to turn on your camera or simply unmute yourself to ask a question. We totally understand the awkwardness of Zoom. You're also welcome to use the chat feature. So let me get that up. I'll have it up on the side. Drop a question in the chat as we go through. We're going to get started here in a moment with just some general questions with Dr. Bradley, but absolutely, if something piques your interest or you want to dive deeper on a topic, these sessions are for you guys. So thanks again for being here live with us today. Feel free to join the conversation. So with that, let me tell you about our guest that Jody has known for a couple of years, longer than me, but I've also enjoyed getting to know her around the campus. Dr. Cintara Bradley, this is fun. Enjoy this little bio review here. So she's originally from Somerville, Tennessee. She got her undergraduate degree in neuroscience from Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee. Graduated from Sonoran University. It had just become Sonoran University, I think, in June 2024. And now she is currently in her second year Gen Med residency. So that's really exciting. We're going to learn about residency opportunities. She's right here continuing that education, starting her career at Sonoran University. And outside of the school, let's talk a little bit about Arizona. You guys might have heard me mention earlier how much I love these mountains in the heat. So does Dr. Bradley. She thoroughly enjoys the great outdoors, daily sunshine. So she's out in the early mornings. That's brilliant because it definitely is hot right now. But you can catch her taking nature walks or just sitting near the window, making sure she gets that sunshine. She also is a graduate of the Nature Cure Honors Track. So she loves to focus on detox. She loves the sauna, and I'm curious to know more about that because I love steam. So, gosh, this is going to be a fun conversation today. Let me see. And then also, here's a fun little tip. True crime docuseries Sesame reruns and The Walking Dead are good shows that she enjoys. So that's really fun. Dr. Bradley, thank you
All
so much
right.
for joining us today. You're
Thank you,
muted. One
ladies,
more
for
click. There
having
you
me.
go. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm excited to be
Awesome.
here. I don't think I attended
Awesome.
one when I was a prospective student, so I'm happy to be involved now as a graduate.
Yeah, yeah. We probably didn't have them going on when you were a prospective student. I believe we
Okay.
started these due to COVID.
Okay, for
So,
sure.
so yeah, so we still needed that connection with students and that interaction. So Jane and I started doing these and we've done them ever since. Yeah. So they're fun. They're fun. Find out a lot about our alumni and what they're doing, and that's
Hmm.
fantastic. So
Yeah.
I'm going to start off this fantastic conversation. So, Dr. Bradley, tell us how you got interested in the profession.
Sure. I actually started out on the conventional side. So I was in a conventional MD program. And through that program, I had the opportunity to do a clinical fellowship. I think we all enter medicine with like rose-colored lenses, right? Like you're just gung-ho to help people. So I was fresh out of the gate and really excited to help. And I did a clinical fellowship and got the opportunity to see medicine up close and personal. Some of the internal medicine docs, pediatricians that I worked with during that opportunity, they were seeing upwards of 20, 25 patients a day, so 15 minutes per encounter. And the internal medicine doc was like, you can teach them about diabetes. And she and I had just met that day. So I was like, okay. um, so as the opportunity went on, I just started to ask myself, is this what I want my relationship with my patients to look like? And so that fellowship allowed me the opportunity to do research, right? And so that within that, I was able to ask questions, and 90% of the patients asking them, well, you have a diagnosis of diabetes. Do you also have high cholesterol? Do you also have hypertension? And 90% of them were like, no, I take medicine for that. So their thought process was that the medicine was curing them, and they didn't understand that it was management. And that's not what I wanted to be involved in. So I had some my own health issues at the time, and I took some time away. I was like, if this is what medicine looks like, I don't want to be a part of that. And so I started to focus on my own health and exercise, nutrition, botanical medicine, all the things. And I was like, I think this is what medicine should look like. And to this day, I don't remember what I typed into Google, but I was like up at like 2 a.m. one day, and all the naturopathic medicine programs came up, and I pulled up Sonoran's curriculum versus the curriculum of this other institution. I was like, it's largely the same or similar, except for I'd be learning about botanical medicine. I'd be learning about acupuncture. And I was like, I think this is it. And the rest is history.
Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. Awesome.
That's it. Oh my gosh. I love those moments of, wait, what is this? There's more? What? What?
Yeah,
What? Like, how
Yeah.
exciting
Yeah.
when you
there are
discover
so
it.
many other
Yeah.
options.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the way that you put the allopathic standard of management versus caring. And just
Mhm.
patients don't even realize that. Like, that's
Right.
just so gut punch, duh.
Yes.
But people just don't get it. They just listen to their doctor. And this is
Right.
okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. This will work.
Mhm.
So, kind of going on to where you were in saying you looked at all the schools and you were comparing curriculums. You were specifically comparing ND curriculums, or were you still kind of looking at DO? Did you look at all the ND schools or interview everywhere?
I interviewed at two indie schools, Sonoran and also Bastyr San Diego. It's interesting because it was right at the start of COVID. It was like February of 2020. And I remember traveling with my mom and being like, are we going to be able to make it back from San Diego to, because they were making all the announcements about COVID. So I this is not pandering in any way, but you guys are so amazing. The admissions here at Sonoran is stellar, second to none. Um, and I remember I applied or started my application to Sonoran before I started my application to another institution. But I ended up interviewing there first. And I went and, this is no not demeaning their program at all, but it just didn't have the it factor for me. That doesn't mean that it doesn't for other people. And I was like, I think I need to complete my application at Sonoran. And by that time, everything was online. So I ended up
Oh,
interviewing online. But the research, the aspect, the regenerative medicine, just the breadth of knowledge and the breadth of the program here was just amazing. And so that's what really attracted me. And I was like, I think this is the place for me. And I have never regretted it. It has been an amazing journey.
very nice. Very
Thank you
nice.
so much for your kind words.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah,
Yes.
so lucky
Yes.
that we
all of
love
it
what
is
we
true.
Yeah.
do. So it's easy though. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So we do
Mhm.
have a question from DeMarcus. He's
Okay.
asking, was the transition from allopathic medicine to alternative medicine difficult to you? for you?
No, it wasn't actually. I feel like it did give me a leg up because I had taken like biochem, anatomy. Granted, I took some time away, right? So a couple of years off, I nannied during that time and just like focused on me. What do Where is my passion? Like, do I still want to pursue this? Really exploring if that was the route that I wanted to take. And so we had to do for my cohort because of COVID, most of that stuff was online for us. And it was an easier transition because I had already taken anatomy, I had already taken biochemistry, I had already taken pharmacology to some degree. So that part wasn't difficult. I think if because the passion was there now, right? It restored my passion in medicine. I was like, if this is what medicine is on the conventional side, I don't want anything to do with that. But coming here and seeing and being a part of like, oh, the research does suggest that some of these supplements and nutraceuticals can be just as, if not more effective than some of the standard of care therapies. That's what I want to be a part of. So the transition wasn't difficult from that standpoint. If anything, it just fueled my passion even more.
Very nice, very nice. Awesome. Thanks, DeMarcus.
No worries. If you
All
have
right.
any questions,
Yep.
jump in, type them in the chat. If you feel like you missed something at the beginning, absolutely just let us know or unmute. You're welcome to ask any questions. Go ahead, Jody.
Hi,
Hi,
I'm
what's
Aisha. I'm
please
from
do.
Memphis, and I
Oh,
heard
cool.
Rhodes College, and then I didn't hear anything else. So I missed the
Oh,
whole beginning, and I'm so sad. So I hope this is recorded because I really want to hear
it is.
this.
It
Okay,
is.
perfect.
It is. Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Thanks
It
for
should be
joining us.
available in a couple
Absolutely.
days. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Bradley. My name's
Hi.
Vanessa Uzo. I'll be starting at Sonoran this fall for the
Awesome.
program. Been a long journey, but we're making it.
Yeah.
So
It was a long journey for me too, girl. So just keep chugging along.
that literally, I'm pushing myself every day. So I just relocated to Arizona a couple months
Okay.
ago. Still getting acclimated to things, but I'm curious to know. I believe in the beginning they said you were doing a fellowship. So I'm
Yes.
interested to knowing more about the fellowship and what you, I guess, what you thought of in deciding to pursue that after you finished your program.
Sure. So that fellowship was while I was in the previous program.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
yeah. No, no worries. Um,
But currently, you're
that,
in your second year residency. I think that's
oh,
what she's asking. Maybe
Sorry.
Vanessa's asking about
Yes.
your
Thank
oh,
you.
okay,
your
okay.
current
Gotcha.
Wrong
residency position.
terms. Thank you.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
they're interesting terminology, but we're
Gotcha. You gotcha. Yes. So I'm in my second year of the Gen Med residency here. So general medicine, meaning like we're licensed as primary care in Arizona, so we can see everything, and then refer as appropriate, right? Let me make sure I understand your question. You're asking how did I choose residency?
Yes.
Okay. I knew coming in that I wanted to do a residency. I just wanted to continue my learning as much as possible. Any medical program that you pursue, it's impossible for you to learn everything in that 4 years, right? Especially because it's split evenly between didactics and clinic. So you can't learn everything in those couple of years in the clinic. So I had some amazing residents as a student. And I was like, if this is what I have to look forward to, in addition to like not only helping patients, but helping students, because they were so instrumental in my learning journey, I wanted to continue to provide that, to give back in that way. My favorite naturopathic treatment principle is docere, to teach. So I want to be able to teach patients in addition to teaching the students as well. So that was the main reason. What you'll discover is that because of licensure and all that stuff, we're not required at the moment to complete a residency as a naturopathic physician. And so there are two different types of residencies. There's a teaching residency, which I'm a part of at Sonoran. And then there's a private residency that um, doctors who own clinics can bring in a resident. The resident, you still go through application process or whatever, but there are different patient loads, there are different expectations. And so I wanted to be a part of a teaching residency where I could teach, where I could be fully immersed in mentorship. There are a lot of attendings here that specialize in different things. And so I get exposure to that. And it's just allowed me to stay connected with Sonoran. Sonoran was so instrumental in developing my leadership skills and all of that. So I just wanted to continue to be a part of the culture to give back.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
of course.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, Dr. Bradley, let's talk a little bit about your program itself. Was it
Okay.
as hard as you thought it was going to be? Was it harder? What do you think?
Um, I think a little bit of both. I think because I didn't anticipate that a lot of the things that I had learned in the previous program would come back. But this
Okay.
program stretches you in multiple ways beyond academically. It stretches you emotionally, it stretches you spiritually, and it really causes you to step outside of your comfort zone. Um,
Okay.
and add on top of that, I went to school during COVID. So there was that added
Yeah. Yeah.
layer of being in this graduate level program during a time when everyone was isolated from each other. So in some ways, it was um, a little bit easier on the didactic side because I had some of those skills already or some of that knowledge
Okay.
already. And then, but from another perspective, I'm 1,600, 1,700 miles away from home, right? Medical school is very isolating. So some of those milestones you may not be able to be a part of with your family. So in some ways that is difficult, but keeping in mind that you have a goal that you're trying to reach, and that's super helpful. So those weekly phone calls with mom and my little brother and all
Mhm.
my family, really help in that way. So I think in some regards it was easier. And then in other ways, it really just stretched me to be a leader. It stretched me to pursue my goals, no matter what. Um, so yeah, I guess a double-edged sword, if so to speak.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Absolutely makes sense. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Definitely. Now, I listen and I wonder, was it that missing of the family? What do you think was the most challenging, or was it? I'm going to say COVID. There's going to always be that asterisk of COVID.
Right. Right.
Would you say maybe it's a little bit different now, right? You're fortunately you can kind of see how it's delivered and stuff. What do you think today is going to be the most challenging part for our students coming in?
Today, um, I think like navigating a different like landscape, educational landscape, it really depends on the type of learner you are. Getting to know the type of learner you are beforehand, it will definitely make it easier. So I think the most difficult part is um am I more kinesthetic? I need that hands-on, being in the cadaver lab. And am I more a visual person? So I need those resources that help me to learn because I'm watching videos on YouTube or Lecturio or something like that. Or am I someone who can just listen to something 2 times speed and I got it down? I have an eidetic memory. So if the instructor writes it on the board, I know. So I think the difficult part is that you're the classic example is that or analogy is that you're drinking from a fire hydrant. There's so much information thrown at you. The most difficult thing I think is like you hit the ground running, and as you're running you have to determine what type of learner am I, how do I assimilate this knowledge, how do I retain it, and do well. So I think that in the age of AI and so many different
Yeah.
platforms and software that is helping people assimilate knowledge quicker, that that's probably the more difficult thing right now.
Well said. It's still drinking from a fire hydrant. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure is. Yeah. Sure is. All right. So while you were going through the program, did you feel that you were able to have a life outside of the program? I mean, did you join any clubs? Because we have quite a few clubs here. So would you do out of class?
So I was very involved. I was a
Yeah.
part of SGA from even while we were online. So from the beginning, I
Okay.
started out as like the secretary in SGA, and eventually became the president of SGA before I graduated. Um, I worked with one of the supplement companies. So I was a student rep for one of the supplement companies here in the Medicinary. Um, so just various
Nice.
things. I was a part of the board of AANP, part of the board of
Cool.
AZNMA.
Nice.
So lots of different things in various aspects. So I think that it was difficult sometimes to turn those things off. Like you're always doing something. You go from
Mm.
clinic to helping to manage patient care to then, having to answer emails and student questions. So my me time was my nature walks and continue to be my nature
Right.
walks,
That's what I
my
figured.
sauna
Right.
sessions.
Yeah.
So I think you have to identify the one or two things that are really going to like fulfill you, pour back into you, and make sure that you do those things on a consistent basis. So it's hard.
No,
It's hard,
very
but you
nice.
can you can manage it.
Right.
Even if you have to write it down in a to-do list and make sure it's on your calendar so you are structuring it every single day or every week or however often.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
I know we've talked to quite a few students or alumni that would say, yeah, during my time in school, I would set one day, whether it's a
Mhm.
Friday or
Hmm.
whether it's a Saturday, and I did not look at books. I didn't
Yep.
focus on anything. It was for me,
Yeah.
So, and I think that's crucial while you're going through the program,
Yeah.
just because there is so much information thrown at you at one time. So
Yes.
nice.
Mhm.
There
So
it is.
Yeah. That's a very
So
consistent message
Demarcus,
for sure.
yes,
Yeah, go ahead,
absolutely.
Jody.
So
Mhm.
Demarcus has another question.
Mhm.
Do you have aspirations of specializing as an ND? Good question.
Um, that's a great question. I maybe thought I would at some point, but I love the fact that we can see anything that walks through the door. Obviously, you have to have the integrity and moral compass, right, to know, and humility to know when, hey, this is beyond my scope or this is outside of my wheelhouse. So I will refer you to someone. Um, my Although I don't necessarily identify as a specialty, my clinical passions include digestive health, nutrition, some of those things, because that is really the research is showing that our digestive health underlies everything, right? And
Mhm,
so
mhm.
I approach every case from that perspective, from, what is happening in this person's GI that could potentially be contributing. But at this point, I don't plan to specialize. That may change. I enjoy being surprised by what walks through the door. I enjoy being stretched in that way to always be looking up something, always be reading the newest research. So at this point, I don't plan
Okay,
to.
very good. Very good.
Jody, I'm gonna save that number 7 for later. But number 8, like talks, we're gonna go into residency a little bit, I think. And
Okay.
you did explain earlier, you knew, like, all right, I want to get back, I want to help others learn, I want to keep teaching as well. By chance, did you apply to any other residencies or just here at Sonoran?
I did apply to a couple other residencies, but Sonoran
Ah,
was my top choice. I did
that's
that just as a safety net. Just gotta make sure that I have a job. But Sonoran was always my top choice, and so I was glad on match day. Was ecstatic that I ended up matching here. So yeah, I just fell in love with this place, and it's gonna be hard to get rid of me.
No, that's great. That's great. Well, this is really cool. I don't know that anybody's really shared with us the experience or how to apply for residencies or how did you find out about them? Tell us a little bit about that, how you knew what
Uh,
was out there and where to apply. And the match
yeah,
day. Yeah. Tell us a little
Yeah,
bit about
of
that.
yeah,
course.
yeah.
So It's a whole process. So as a Q13, there are 15 quarters, and I think this is probably going to change in the fall. So let me know if that's going to change, if I'm speaking prematurely. But typically, the way things worked for me, I'll speak from that perspective because we were under a quarter or 15 quarter system. Q13, which is 6 months before, 6 or 9 months before you graduate, you start to the AANMC that you guys are aware of and maybe have been in contact with. They start to post kind of blurbs about it, like, hey, the portal is going to open sometime in October or so, or maybe December. And where you can go ahead and sign up for your profile, make your profile, go ahead and start making your resume, all those things. And you can go in there and see previous year's residencies. It doesn't mean that they will have a residency open when you apply. It just lets you know that these have been available in the recent past or whatever. Um, and so then when it officially opens, you get your personal statement, you get your resume together, your letters of recommendation. You get a chance to then, once it officially opens, all of the sites that will offer residencies pop up. Here at our clinic on campus, we typically have 5 general medicine residency spots, first year spots available. So that has been pretty standard since I've been here and as long as have heard people talk about it. So I knew that those spots would be available and I knew that I wanted to apply here. And then there are a couple other, what you'll find out is that, all the other schools have we have a Sonoran affiliated, or we have Sonoran affiliated residencies. So residency sites that come under us, but they're not on campus. They're out in the community somewhere. So you can apply to those places. You can apply to different states. And again, I hate to sound like a broken record. I knew that I wanted to stay because of how impactful those residents have been for me. I knew the breadth of knowledge that I would gain would be second to none. And some of those private residencies differ in that there may be an increased patient load. And while you do get some mentorship, here in the teaching residency, we have several doctors that specialize in several different things. So you're exposed to way more docs. So it just really depends on what you're looking for. If you want to prioritize number of patients seen versus, maybe you don't really want to teach students or, um, have the mentorship of several doctors, that's totally fine. But for me, that's what I wanted. So that's what I prioritize. And that's why I put Sonoran as my top choice. So that process, kind of flows that way. Everything, if you graduate in the fall, no, if you graduate in the spring, which would be June, then you would apply like in January, February-ish, and then all of your applications and stuff are due by March. And then interviews are in April, and then match day is at the end of May. But if you ended up graduating in the fall, it's shifted up a little bit, and you'll end up matching, I think, like in February or so, February or March.
I
So I hope
wondered how
that
that
answered that
matched in
question.
that. Yeah, I mean, that made a lot of sense,
Okay.
more sense than what I thought it was, because I
Okay.
really didn't know. Yeah, yeah,
No, that was very
yeah,
thorough. And I think it's neat to
yeah.
learn, okay, a general timeline of how far in advance are you really
Right.
looking at this and how easy it is to see the types of opportunities that are there. It's one
Yeah.
system and it's nationwide. It's everything
Mhm.
that's out there. So that's really exciting just to know how easy that's going to be when the time comes for individuals. So
And the beauty of our residencies too is that maybe you end up shadowing a doctor offsite in the community that you just find their patient load, their patient population, and what they do fascinating. You can always have a discussion with them about applying to become a Sonoran
Hmm.
affiliated residency.
Hmm.
Once they complete the site visit application process, they can be added, and then you can apply and
Hmm.
create your own residency, so to speak.
yeah. Still growing. And yeah, we want to see more and more opportunities out there. So that's a
For sure.
great little plug.
Ooh, gosh, I
Absolutely.
mean, I still have, I think in my brain now, I'm going to go now. Okay, so you got the residency position on day one. Are you seeing patients or did you have 30 students calling to you? Or like, what's it like now being a resident at Sonoran University? And was year two an automatic shoe-in for you? So yeah, now it feels a little bit more being a
Resident,
resident.
yeah, for sure. It definitely took some getting acclimated to, right? Getting used to. It's surreal going from being a student into taking boards, and then, a few months later you're back, and now you're on the other side of things.
Right.
So now these doctors that I admired while I was a student and still admire, I now get to admire them as colleagues in the profession. And so the first couple of months, I was just like getting used to everything, getting used to the patients, the charting, the questions,
Even though you've
the
already done it for 2 years, it still
yeah,
feels brand
it's a
new.
lot. Because you go from maybe like 5 charts a week, max 7 as a student, to now I have to approve probably anywhere between like 25 and 30 or
Ah,
more,
Wow.
depending
okay.
on
Mm.
the number, our community clinic. So what you guys will see is that we not only have our clinic, we have several community clinics, and those patients get free care. And so inevitably we're seeing 10, 15 patients, in one day. Um, so closing out all of those charts and teaching students how to chart, right? Like reaching back and saying like, this is the correct way to do things, doing spearheading procedures and having students watch you do the procedures on patients. So that's pretty cool. And of course, imposter syndrome like creeps in. I'm like, I've asked myself, so like I've woken up so many days and I'm like, am I a doctor? Like, really? Is this real? Am I living in a dream? Like,
That's so
and
cool.
so so now, but definitely my first year. Definitely first year was like, this can't be real. And so second year, I learned so much my first year, and I knew, okay, the second year, I know I'm gonna grow even more because now I have my own 2 shifts that I oversee. So I wanted that opportunity to be able to pour into students more, and to also have the autonomy to kind of see patients on my own or with on a supervised shift with the students. So second year was also a shoe in. I knew that, okay, I'm going to be applying for a second year as well because it's just more knowledge, more continuity. Getting your feet wet even more, expanding your knowledge and your skills even more. So I knew that that's what I wanted to do. One thing I forgot to mention a second ago is that um, our NRC residents are a 2 year, like it's an automatic 2 year contract, but the Gen Med residency, they're 1 year. So you don't have to, like, if you feel like, oh, I feel like I've learned enough after that first year and you want to go out into private practice or you want to go into practice with someone else, you can do that. But so you renew or you apply every year instead of it being
Right.
like a 2 or 3 year commitment.
Mm.
Okay. Good to know.
Interesting tip. Yeah,
Mhm.
that it's a 2 year on the Neil Reardon Center one. Gotcha.
Mhm.
All right, Jody, we got some questions in the chat. You want to jump on
Yeah,
that?
there is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. What has been your main challenge you accomplished while being at Sonoran, and how did you accomplish that?
Mm. Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Biggest challenge that I don't know. I think that Sonoran really helped me come out of my shell. Sonoran really helped me develop my confidence and leadership ability. And I don't think I was expecting that. I think I was expecting to
Oh.
learn, how to be a doctor, learn how to, do things in clinic. And I just became such a well-rounded individual by being here. I didn't think that I could lead a student body. I didn't think that I could, host town halls and be a listening ear for students and then also be the liaison between students and the board and our administration. Um, so I think that was the biggest accomplishment was overcoming that hurdle. I've always been a nerd, quote unquote, so I don't think that I viewed the educational side of things as a challenge as much as I felt like, okay, I need development in other areas too. And Sonoran really helped me do that. The other biggest challenge is probably just juggling everything.
Yeah.
Because you're being pulled on in so many different directions, right? Like you're going to inevitably make friends here. And so you're going to want to go out with your friends some nights. You're going to want to,
Hmm.
you know, just hang out by the pool, but you're also going to have assignments that may be due, or you have a quiz the next week or an exam. So inevitably there are all these things that are pulling on you. And I think one of the biggest things that I learned to do was just say like, I've reached at this particular time of the night, 10 p.m., whatever, it's a point of diminishing returns. I'm no longer retaining any information. Like I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed and solidify all the things that I've just learned while I sleep.
Lock it in.
So I think that's another challenge too, is just like you have to really map out your schedule as a student. Like, there's no one here to call you to wake you up. There's no one to say, your mom's not there to say, oh, this assignment is due, or your teacher won't
Right,
necessarily
right.
remind you. So having a schedule, having like whether that's a Google Calendar, Outlook calendar, whatever, or a physical calendar that you keep on you and write things in, I think that is very important too, just like time management. So that's been a huge thing that I continue to work on. I have to write things down now because I have so many responsibilities. So that's important.
Good
Very
question.
nice. Very nice. Let's see. We have another one. Was moving to Arizona difficult? If so, how did you manage financially, emotionally, and mentally?
Wow.
That's
Um,
a big one.
so moving was difficult because at the time my dad was sick. And so I wanted to stay, with him. And I jokingly say my little brother graduated the program with me. So our
Aw.
orientation started, or classes started October 5th, and my brother was born October 7th. So I have a 5-year-old
Oh,
brother.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yes, so he was
How
born during COVID. Um, and so just like navigating all of that, having to leave my family. I remember it was so weird, like buying a one-way ticket.
oh
And
God, yeah.
I hugged my mom that morning and just like broke down. So it was
Aw.
hard, to leave them. But I knew again that I was leaving for a purpose. I knew that this was my life's passion and my calling. Um, Financially, it can be a lot, I will say. It was a little bit easier for me because I ended up getting a storage back home. So my mom like put most of my stuff in storage at home. So all I brought with me was literally I had an air mattress shipped here from Amazon. And I had 2 bags with clothes in them. And so I just
Wow.
accumulated things once I moved into my place here. So, bought a couch and all of that after I got here. So I didn't do the U-Haul situation because the estimates that I got were just ridiculous. I did ship my car. So I paid to have my car brought over because I didn't want to drive by myself. Um, so, accounting, I would probably account for allocate $5,000 to $7,000 for moving if you have an apartment or place where you have a lot of things that you know for sure you want to bring over. But the easiest thing would probably be if you're able to um, just sell your stuff and use that money to like move. Like, that it makes it easier for you you're just like unencumbered. You don't have to rent a U-Haul. You don't have to worry about all of those things. You can just have your car shipped and take the clothes in a couple of bags that you check. And yeah, that's kind of what I did. I do know that there are some people who, moved via U-Haul. So it just kind of depends on what works best for you and where you're coming from if you're living by yourself or moving from home with family.
it's
Got to be stressful. I mean,
Yes.
especially not having family out here,
Yeah.
right.
but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's got to be tough. Got to be tough.
Yeah.
Moving in general is always a little stressful, whether it's across the
Very.
country or across the town, right? You'll
It's
move to
crazy.
Tempe day and you'll be like, hey, I'm right next to campus. And then
Right.
6 months later, you'll be like, okay, I got to get away from campus and you're going to move to Chandler or who knows. So just
Yeah.
kind of go with the flow. I
Yeah.
love that suggestion of kind of keep it light,
Yep.
keep yourself a little more mobile and light. That absolutely makes sense. So
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
advice.
yeah,
Good advice.
yeah, yeah. Okay, we have another
Um,
question.
good.
Were you a recipient of any grants or scholarships?
That's a great question. I was it my, I guess it was my second year, second or third year. Um, It was the pool scholarship, and I want to say it was $10,000. No, maybe it was 5,000. I can't remember. But yes, I did get a scholarship. Um, and Sonoran is so great because we have a lot of like relationships with people out in the community who are more than happy, and even some indie families that give back to the college or to the university. And so that family. Was a couple who were both indies who had retired. And so we had like a little luncheon and all of the scholarship recipients were there. And so I think it's typically in the fall when they send out the announcement about scholarships. So definitely apply. That list got longer with the list of number of scholarships while I was a student. So apply each year. Every time it goes out, make sure you're submitting. Um, I don't know that at this point if we have like full scholarships available, but every little bit counts, especially with the changes that are taking place with the Department of Education and all of that. So, yes, we do have those available.
Mhm.
Good question.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then make sure you're applying elsewhere too. So,
Oh,
or like, I mean, like outside scholarships. Make sure that you're looking up other grants that are available to students who are applying for um, or you're doing a terminal degree program or professional degree because the money is there. So make sure you're googling those things and as much of your education that you can get funded elsewhere, try your best to.
yes,
Outstanding
yes.
advice. I try to encourage my candidates. Like, you never know, there's companies, there's organizations that are looking for tax write-offs. They're looking to
Hmm.
donate. They're looking to where can we sponsor someone or
Yeah.
give money. So tell them what you're up to, enroll people
Yeah.
in your life and they'll sponsor you. You never
Yes,
know
for
what could
sure.
come to fruition. So just tell people what you're up to, create it yourself. That's awesome. They just send the
Absolutely.
checks directly to the school and they'll deposit in your student account. Don't
Out.
you
Yeah.
worry about it. It's that
Yes.
easy.
It takes a
Yeah.
huge load off for sure.
Let people know we
Absolutely.
are a nonprofit organization. It truly is the tax write-off
Mhm.
for their benefit as well. So good advice. Good questions. You guys keep those questions coming. This again, these calls, these are for your benefit. I got so excited about residency. I don't even know where we left off, Jody. Go ahead.
I know. I know. Let's see. Oh, I'm
So would you, I mean, like,
thinking.
I know we're still in the residency, like, my thoughts are, would you encourage that for folks? It's not like it's really continuing to help you develop and grow. There's obviously a lot
Mhm.
of benefits to it. Do you think that is important that students consider that option?
I definitely do. Because while you can look at it from the perspective of, I'm just so eager to go start my own practice or whatever, and so you want to fast track that. I do think it's the perfect incubator, right, for you to continue to
Mhm.
learn. And there have been a few times now, especially when I first covered a shift for an attending who was out. And I was looking at this person's thyroid hormones, and I was like, I'm thinking we probably should decrease her dose of exogenous thyroid. And, I was fairly confident in that, but I went to one of the seasoned docs next door and I was like, hey, I have a quick question for you. Can I show you this patient's labs? This is what I'm thinking. And she was like, yeah, I think you probably would want to decrease her dose. And so it's great to have that mentorship and be able to just pop in the next classroom or on another shift where that doctor is having their shift too, to just say, hey, I just have a quick question. I don't know if I should go this route or that way. And it builds your confidence. It develops rapport and camaraderie with your colleagues and just better equips you and prepares you for life outside Sonoran and outside of the clinic here or outside of the residency. And also, you never know when things may shift or change and residency may become a requirement. And so you already have that
Sure.
under your belt. It just adds so much legitimacy to the profession and to what you offer once you do finish your residency and get out into the field, right? A lot of people look for that once seasoned docs who have their own roster of patients and they're growing and they're like, I want to add a doctor to my practice. And some of the requirements may be, I want someone who's had at least a year or two of residency. And so if you already have that, you not only get the opportunity to continue your mentorship, you're seeing patients as a resident and you're developing your skills and developing your resume. So it's checking all of the boxes. And it just makes you so much more marketable and competitive.
Well said.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. Do you feel that the school prepared you even for the residency? Do you feel that you were ready to, I don't know how I want to put it. Do you feel that they prepared you enough to go out there and see patients?
I definitely do. There are some things
Okay.
that we see all the time. It was probably about end of Q12, Q13, where I was like, oh, this person has hypothyroidism. I know how to treat
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
I know what
Okay.
recommendations to make. I felt confident in those things even before graduation. And so now
Okay.
I have my treatment plans for those already ready.
Nice.
And obviously, every patient is different, what have you. So they may require some different things. And you're always looking at the constitution of the patient and all of that and taking in that whole picture. But the nutrition piece, the cardiometabolic piece, the reproductive piece that we see in a lot of women and men, I felt very confident in before graduation. So coming into residency, it's kind of like after graduation. I've tried to describe it to my mom too. It's like another part of your brain switches or something. Um, it's like, oh, now I have to put on the actual like doctor hat and I can do this. There are still times now where I'm like, oh, I've never seen this before. I need to go to up to date, do some research, look at some PubMed articles, see what standard of care and what the research is saying about this. And I think we'll always be doing that no matter how seasoned you are. But Sonoran definitely prepared us through OSCE, through through all of the patient contacts and interactions, and through the availability of our mentors and the attendings to share their knowledge with us. I definitely feel like I was well prepared for residency.
Good, 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 good. All right, let's see. We have another question.
Good.
Is it Kavia? Kia Via? She is preparing her application now. Is there any advice you'd share in this phase to preparation for submission and interview? Are there specific recommendation letters I should request to stand out as a candidate? You remember your application process, Dr. Bradley?
Way, way back there, right? Eons ago, eons ago. Um, that's a great question. I think I would probably give the same advice that I would give to someone applying for residency. I've had students ask about residency as well. Um, I think what's evident just by you being here and identifying an interest in naturopathic medicine is that you want to be a naturopathic doctor. We know that.
Right.
We know you're likely good at sciences, right? Make sure you're also like well rounded in other things. Like, what are your hobbies? Like, what do you do in your downtime? Do you do community service? And if you are doing
Mhm.
community service, are those things, you know, social justice type things? Are they healthcare related? Whatever they are, just make sure you're developing that part of you too, because your patients will need that part as well. They'll need you to be able to be empathetic. They'll need you to be able to understand what's going on in the world that's also
Yep.
affecting them. So I think that helps you, that would help you stand out too, not just that you have a 4.0 in your science stuff, but you also, enjoy reading. You also enjoy like, animals or whatever the thing is. So developing all parts of you will help your application shine. So if there at the time that I applied, I think there were we needed two science recommendation letters. you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know what the requirements are now, but if you can further strengthen your application with in addition to whatever is required, but an additional letter of recommendation for somebody who knows the other side of you, I think that would be helpful too. So somebody in the community or something who has seen your volunteer work and your work ethic, that would be helpful too, or even a boss if you work currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would probably
Yeah.
be my suggestion.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That
Mhm.
and that
Mhm.
resonates with me because I just graduated from American College of Health Science, getting my graduate certificate in integrative health and wellness.
Wonderful.
I
That's
desired to
good.
be a doctor, and my story kind of resonated when you said you were on the allopathic medicine route, right?
Mhm.
But as I was learning and taking classes, aromatherapy, botanical medicine, all these things, I said, wait a minute,
Mhm.
I am not on the right track. And so most of my professors were NDs.
Okay.
And so that
Oh,
sparked, like, I'm telling you, the fireworks were going in my head. And I'm like, I
right.
have to go to Sonoran because I'm shadowing a doctor next month, Dr. Jamila. She's a graduate of Sonoran.
Okay.
And I
What's her
was like,
last name?
Nelson,
Okay.
Jamila,
I'm not sure.
she's in
Okay.
Georgia.
Okay.
Okay.
So she keeps saying, I did the program ages ago.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so, but I said, I have to do this.
Yeah.
I have to, like, this is my year. And so I'm just overjoyed, but I'm also a little bit nervous in a good way because this
Mhm.
is new for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm taking the right route by just, shedding the light on myself and my
Mhm.
skills, my passions, and all the things. Like
Mhm.
I'm getting accepted, guys. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Like
You're gonna get accepted. Yeah.
you have to see me.
Yes.
And I'm super excited. I'm super
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look forward to
Yeah.
see you in the, would it be the fall or spring?
So I want to start in the fall, but I
Okay.
see that application is showing when I looked it up that if I apply now is for April. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I can wait till later. I don't know how that works. So I have to talk to admissions about
Okay.
that.
So
Um,
you will want to reach out to me. So
okay.
your last name is Gibbs, correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. All right. Let me do this. I will send you my contact information and then I'll have you set up an appointment with me and then we'll talk about the application or I'll answer any questions that
I
you
love
have.
that.
Yeah. Let's get together so we can talk a little bit more about that.
Let's do
Okay?
that. Thank you,
Because
Miss Jody. I
those
appreciate
fireworks
it.
go off,
It
those are
is.
that's what
And
we're
is
looking
it
for.
Kiavia?
Kiavia.
Kiavia. And
Yes.
Yeah.
you're from
Okay.
Memphis?
I'm in Memphis currently. Yes. I'm
Okay,
from
Very
cool.
Memphis.
nice.
Yes.
Okay. I'm from
Very
Somerville.
nice.
So right outside Memphis.
I
Yeah.
know. I have family there.
Okay. I went to
Nice.
Rhodes, graduated from Rhodes, lived in
Okay.
Nashville for a time, and then moved from Nashville here.
Okay. So I have
Yeah.
family in Nashville as well. My
Oh,
dad and my
cool.
mom are from Brownsville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah,
So,
right up the
yeah,
Very
road.
nice.
Right up
exactly.
the road.
Exactly. Yes, we might be cousins. I don't know.
Listen, we might be.
Yeah, I
All
love
right,
this.
my dear, do me a favor and in the chat, can you put your email address in there? Because it doesn't
Absolutely.
look like you're in our system. So I want
Okay.
to reach out to you and
Mhm.
get your information too. I just don't want to lose you after this.
I don't want you to
Because
lose me either. So,
there you
okay.
go. Very good.
Thank
Very good.
you.
All right. And I'm going to email you. And then, like I said, we'll get together and we'll talk about the application, what you need to do, and all that good stuff. I've
Thank
done
you
this
so
for a
much.
long time, so I promise you're in good hands.
Thank you so much, Miss Jody.
You are
Thank you.
welcome. You are welcome. All right. Okay.
That was
Let's
fun. Oh,
see.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dr. Bradley, we're like down to 2 minutes, 90
Okay.
seconds.
Yeah.
Would you
Okay.
do it all
Yeah.
over again? Like, what words of
Yes.
advice do you have for these future candidates
I
here?
know. I want to ask all these questions.
I
I
know.
would do it in a heartbeat. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Awesome.
I think that sometimes we have to be redirected in life in order to live in what we have been called to live in. And I just even sister has commented on it. I didn't think that anybody noticed, but she was like, there's just such a renewed sense of passion. I noticed that once you got into naturopathic medical school, and as much as you talk about patients and talk about, nutrition and digestive health and all, I'm sure she and my mom get tired of me talking about it. But for them to see, for other people to notice the switch, I am just overjoyed that I get to meet with patients every day and share the knowledge that I have learned with them so that we can see a healthier community, a healthier America. And
Yeah.
I truly believe that I'm a believer, I'm a person of faith, and I think that God's original intention for medicine was naturopathic medicine. I think that he was the
Yeah.
original naturopathic doctor. And so we are, living that out.
Yeah.
And so I
Exactly.
just enjoy it. I enjoy it every day, and I do it in a heartbeat again. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Beautifully said. I love it. Any words of advice?
Oh, okay.
Final words of wisdom.
Um, don't pressure yourself. Don't everything is going to happen as it should. Take your time with your application. Put all, your heart and soul into it, obviously. um I know there will be nerves, that's natural,
Yeah.
but once the door swings
Yeah.
open, they're just an innumerable amount of opportunities, and just the breadth and depth and the width of things that you will learn, and the exposure will be amazing. It will be well worth it. So just pour into you during this time. Make sure that you're engaging in your hobbies as well as filling out that application. And just make sure that, you're looking into the institution, all that we have to offer, and make sure that all of those things resonate with you. And get ready for some beautiful, hot, scorching weather in Arizona.
Exactly. Yeah.
Every time I
It's
see my
fantastic.
family when I go back home, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're getting darker." I'm like, "I know, the sun is baking me."
It feels so good. I love the
You're
way it
so
feels.
funny. Yeah, that's funny.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much. This
Awesome.
was
Stacy,
you're
so
thank you.
welcome.
nice.
This
It's
was
such a
great.
pleasure.
Everybody for your
Thank you for
Very
questions.
good.
having me.
Your
Very
engagement.
good.
No, it was truly refreshing. Wonderful to see you and get to know
Good to
you
see you
better.
both
Thank
too.
you. Thank you for your hour. Thank you for the
Yeah, you're
time.
welcome. You guys
All
take
right. Thank you
care.
so much. All
Congratulations,
right.
early congratulations to you, Miss
Thank
Gibbs.
you. I'm so excited.
Yes, it's gonna be
Thank
great.
All right.
you.
It's
We'll
gonna
talk
be great.
soon. All
All right.
right.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr.
Bye-bye.
Bradley.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.